All right, what's happening is the federal government is selling gas rates.
Right, and they went on the VHF.
And they're narrowing the emergency services to less and less frequency. And that's why we're stuck. This is, for me, one of
One for you.
It's like 10 degrees too.
some of the cities are really hurt.
Put that in Jeff's packet, please.
I don't know.
Okay, we'll discuss this, or we just,
I just thought I'd give it to you.
Most of this is union. The labor agreement, I don't know.
It's a nice document to be fair to, though.
yeah, I'll say.
Said police corporal, that's,
No, we don't. Corporal.
is that 753 now? Is that the wage and benefit, or is that wage?
It's just wage.
Living on business.
I tried to figure out
I
the
didn't
police
want to say
officer's
that.
line, but there's varying
Salary.
salaries, so I tried to figure out an average, but
Right, because you got your police officer, 9/11/74, that's the salary there, right?
75.
Well, that's, yeah,
Well, that's everybody, though.
That's a gross.
That's the gross of the hours, well, that's
Right,
multiplied by
that's what
9.
9, yes.
Times that should give you, I think,
there's
your,
probably, what, they 4, 5 different salaries.
This
well,
payroll.
you have part-timers, you have corporals, you have all kinds of things.
Well, I mean, as far as just
You have
officers, though, 'cause
four
corporals is there.
officers at the top rate, and you have 2 officers at the beginning.
Exactly. That's why it's a little hard to.
No, it's kind of confusing when I'm looking at that. Looking at the 37.53, that's per hour, right? If you have in the column hour.
What's 37.53? That's not the new one. The new
Corporal
one is-
hourly rate.
the new one is on the other side, it's
How do you
38.28.
fit
To the right, Todd, to the right.
To the right,
Yeah, that's the new one, so you're looking 2014.
24, well, just looking at the column, the hours.
Everyone's hourly except for the police officers, but since there's 9 in different rates, it's tough to break it down.
Well,
Right.
I guess that 75 is the average.
Yeah, it's just, you get different information on the column, this is hour rate. And we're
Right.
looking at hour rate, it's not hour rate, one is.
That's the way it looks to me.
Right. So it's like you want a column. Well, it's just, it makes
Well,
me,
look, to get it on one page, we couldn't break down, I guess, the full-time officers, 4 different categories, 4 different rates. So it's lumped.
So, I mean, it is in the budget.
Yeah, it is in the budget. Actually,
It's not that number better than 9.
No, I don't think it is because you
What are you
have
talking
different
about?
salaries.
Talking some average
Police
of
officer
salaries.
full-time,
That's what I
9.
think it is.
Try to do
Because you
some
have 2 at the
calculations.
beginning salaries.
that's grouped together, that's why.
That's what we're saying, it's grouped together so you can't.
You gotta take it out of here, Fred.
Right.
Out of here, you got 2 officers here at a starting rate right here. Okay? And you got 4 officers here that are at above
Yeah,
3 years, that they're at the top
The
rate.
$74,000 is the yearly salary. You've got to divide 40 into that.
For a
And
regular
don't
officer's
forget the
hourly
number,
rate,
too.
yes. What's that?
Don't forget 9 too, right?
Yeah.
Because there's none of them.
Well, no, because I think some of them were at the lower rate, but if you take.
All your
this-
police officers are not the same rate.
Right, so if you take,
Right.
well, Vic said is absolutely correct, if you take 40 hours and divide it
the other hand, when you use the terminology, salary, you never make, doesn't matter how many hours you work, you make that salary per year.
Who told you that? Did you read
I
that?
know that when I worked in the
Well, that's
past.
not the
in a
case.
You
company,
don't have one
it's salary.
person.
When I worked in the past, it was a nickel to get on the subway.
But if you work hourly.
No, they are
Some
hours.
offices-
They have to work so many
Some
hours.
officers make 109, some
But
officers
you're talking
make
about that's at the end of the
90.
year.
That's overtime and.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm just saying that I'm looking at.
Your new officers are
That's
making
very
about $20 an hour,
Yeah.
not much more than a part-timer. Your new officers that you hired recently,
Absolutely.
they're making about $22, $23 an hour at the moment.
Right, when you start, you don't make
They're
very
not
much.
So when
They
is that
make
figure?
$40,000 a year is what they make.
So, that's $20 an hour.
Right, but if you post salary rate for the others, why wouldn't you post salary rate?
So there's 9 of them, we couldn't fit it on the page.
They couldn't fit it on the
Well,
page.
you couldn't use the back?
Looks like it started to.
Well, you know what?
I don't need everybody.
Get the payroll people printed out so they.
We can't change it.
That's fine.
But the
But that's
total's still
essentially-
gonna be the total.
Right.
Yeah.
It's still gonna come out to that,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
$600,000
it's, the total isn't gonna change.
for your 9 officers.
And for all of, whether it's the police or borough workers, we pay 100% of their medical and reimbursement for stuff too? It's 100%?
Not for the part-timers.
Not for part-time.
Part-timers?
Part-timers don't get any benefits at all.
The part-time police don't get any benefits?
They're not in the union.
No.
They don't let them in the
So
union.
there's a tremendous savings on the benefit side too.
Part-time officers get no benefit.
That's
Well,
right.
then you
don't
can
pay
work
pension.
per
When we,
hour,
uh,
but they don't
They pay only social
We
security.
don't pay medical for crossing guards, right?
No.
No, again, they're approved by part-time employees.
And our part-time laborers would be the
They're
same.
part-time seasonal too.
Yeah.
Any part-time employee we don't pay.
The library doesn't get it either. But the part-time employees do get a week's vacation. We'll change that.
Yeah, but that's not.
Well, it's one benefit they get. Yeah, they don't get any other benefits.
Well, what is the benefit package per officer per year? You have to put one on there.
Oh, it's expensive.
They changed
Very
it.
expensive.
What do you-
I know it's in that
Figure-
30,000 a year,
So like, figure 40% over his salary.
40% over salaries.
That's what it costs you. And if you want to say, what does it cost you to field that officer, if you count the auxiliary services that go behind him to put him out there, double his salary. And if you look at the amount of police officers you have in the borough, and you double their salaries, you should come somewhere as close to what the police budget is.
Yeah, Todd, all you gotta do is look at 1,900,000
36,000,
How much? All you gotta do is look at that figure. You got-
1,960,261.
There you go, that's what it costs.
It costs,
That's
it
what
costs
it costs for
approximately
10
double
officers
his
and
salary
four
to field
part-timers.
the police.
It's 30,
Well, remember, in the
35%
past,
of
we
the
were
salary.
talking about benefits, not just for police, but public works, wasn't it like 15 or 18,000?
40% is just his pennies.
Yeah.
That includes
The full
vacations.
package.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive, it's all included, like if the guy, right now, it's all included if the guy's married. Right now, married package
Because of the
costs about
insurance.
$18,000 for healthcare. But if a guy's single, it could cost, watch this, if a guy, everything goes by age now too. If a guy's, some of our younger officers that are married, even the middle officers that are married, only cost $12,000. The older officers cost $18,000. A younger officer only costs $6,000. Everything goes by
Every
age
single
now.
officer.
Yeah, only cost, everything goes by age. As you get older, everything costs more. That's what the healthcare system says.
Pretty much on target there.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
Well,
they figure when you're
well,
older,
the
you may
insurance
use
companies
these.
Well, when you're
Sure,
30, when you're
yeah,
30 to 50, you probably don't use any healthcare at all. You know, you don't get sick, you don't get a
That's
cold,
why
you don't do
it's
anything, you don't
less
go to the
expensive.
doctor. As soon as you hit 50 to
Begin to
65, you
fall
start
The premiums go
cost of
Begins
the,
to
cost of
It's
healthcare.
35 for change.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what we pay.
So the
So
thing is,
we're not gonna make any changes to the budget, so that I can just, I already called the paper. Virginia's calling the paper tomorrow. It'll be advertised Wednesday, and it'll be for view on Wednesday during the day. It'll be advertised in the paper for view. So that'll be the start of the 10 days
From Wednesday on.
from Wednesday on.
Wednesday's what date? The 5th?
Third.
The 3rd.
All right, and we meet on the 15th.
And the
to pass
15th.
budget. You
And
need to-
Barbara only said just
Regular
10 days, it
What?
doesn't say 10 working days, it says 10
10
days.
days.
So we'll be able to vote on the budget on the 15th. So you won't have to ruin your Christmas this year or anything, unless Dave
Well, you
I
never
don't
vetoes.
remember coming in.
We don't know if Dave's gonna veto the budget,
I
then we have
think
to
some
come
of
back.
these things may look a little outrageous, I have to think about over turkey.
No, but we should have our 10 days in, and we should be able to vote on it on the 15th.
But you have to prepare the tax orders too. You vote on it the
And
same
fee
night.
schedule.
And the fee schedule.
And speaking of fee schedule,
Well, can we do the fee schedule at another meeting, or do we have to do it when we do the tax? Is that by ordinance, the fee schedule, or is it resolution?
but we need to do it all together. I mean, we'll have it, just have it out for review in this Friday, in tomorrow's packet, I guess, right? That's right, because nobody's there Thursday and Friday.
You can come here tomorrow night, I won't be.
Okay.
Why would we?
See what the weather's like.
But,
Hey,
I'm
my
suggesting,
31 inches.
I'm suggesting that,
Mixing up.
something that we don't charge right now, like I think, how about everybody gets a, in a package, mine in a box, and everybody can look it over. And of course, I think Bob's already looked it over, I hope, and we need to see if there's any changes, that we need to make any changes to the fees. But I'm gonna suggest that we consider, a fee per child, for the, baseball players.
What is this again?
A fee to the Morrisville Little League per player.
Per player. We charge for, the playground, when people from out of town come and use the playground.
So a flat fee, you're suggesting to Little League.
How much do they
What-
charge per kid, Nancy?
Someone said it's about $245,
It's
$265,
expensive.
so $260.
And how many kids are from Morrisville?
They're saying, so it's maybe 10%.
It's less than half.
Well, then,
Which is
that's-
against the
that's a
charter
fair fee
anyway.
then, right?
Pardon me?
And that's a fair fee if you wanna, if they wanna use
Well, I
the
had our
fields.
solicitor make sure that we're not getting ourselves into any hot water, but,
You're talking about $265? $265?
Per child.
Per child?
So what are you suggesting for the fee?
I don't know. I
And
was
how
trying not to
many-
be greedy about it, but like $25, $30.
The reason they come here is because where they play is very expensive.
And they get to play here, they love it that the kids all play, they don't get benched. They really.
This is-
Except for the Marshall kids.
About the other kids, that's why they.
Well, I don't know anything.
So how many, if you're proposing is how many, people, how many,
There were, I think there were
Participants.
530,
is that how many are
I think that's
currently?
what Bob had said.
So roughly five
When I
hundred.
asked him last time,
Well, let me ask you a question on this now. Up at Macclesfield, any kid from this area can go play soccer. What are their fees for them up there?
They pay,
Bob said he was gonna be calling around again.
Because if they're not charging us a fee, how can you go
but
charge?
they charge the
Yeah,
teams a
they
fee.
charge the
You
teams
have
a
to
fee.
pay to play.
Yeah, my grandson plays it. but-
My granddaughter's played on
Plays
Macclesfield,
football up there.
and they had to pay so much a
Yeah,
season.
what
Because they have to maintain the grounds.
Even,
Yeah.
even Holy Trinity.
We have to maintain the grass too.
Right.
We have to mow all the grass for them and everything, that's.
I mean, they do a decent job keeping the field straight, but
Well, what do you do?
There's
The
more to
outfield
it than
and
just
the
that.
infield? You don't, but you guys don't mow the infield.
Yes, they do.
You mow the
Yeah.
infield.
Yeah. We maintain
It's our
those fields.
We
It is the
maintain,
borough's
it's our
park.
park.
It's
Well, when they're doing the
they do
reseeding.
the dirt and the lining.
We do all that.
We do all
But our guys
Receive.
Well,
mow the
sometimes they do.
that. No, sometimes
Yeah,
If they have a big game, I'm sure they'll get out
They-
there
they
and trim up.
absolutely-
Most
They
of the
clean
games.
up and everything, I mean, you gotta give them that credit.
Yeah, but they use our bathrooms and they use, they,
But they don't know who's doing it.
Wear and tear
And
on the
we-
parking lots.
and we put people out there on the weekends for them too. You know, we clean the bathrooms on the weekends.
But every time we use the field.
Yeah.
Cindy, you were saying you were thinking 20 or 30?
I don't, you know what, I think we have to find out exactly what the charge is.
Well, $20 would give you $10,000 if it's 500 kids,
That's good stuff.
Yep, simple math,
Yes,
right?
yes.
we put it into the recreation and the park field, or the park line, and
Well,
it
you
ends
could,
up being a, supplemental to
Well, it
the
is.
street stuff.
well, you could put it in for your mowing, see, because they're, or your park maintenance, right? Because that's exactly what
That's
you're doing.
put it in.
If putting.
It's easy to find
Listen,
somewhere to
we're
spend.
putting people
Yeah, I was
there.
gonna say, take a choice.
Well, we're putting people there to open the bathrooms on Saturdays and Sundays and clean the bathrooms for them, so. And we can
How many
really
total,
use that excuse
Jeffrey,
to.
on average, it uses the field, total kids?
Last year was, I think it was actually closer
We have
to
to carry
600.
insurance on the buildings.
Now that's, you know, that's from Liverpool all the way up.
And
That's it, good for improvements.
Well, you can use the money for anything, I don't care what you do, because we pay for it anyway
I
right
said
now
we
out of
could just
the
use it as
budget.
a supplemental for the open space match, whatever we need it for. If we, if it's legit,
Put it in
and,
that place.
Why do you need to do it?
I think we should.
$20 you generate,
5 kids, yes.
600,
Yeah, we have less and less of our own kids that play there
it's fine.
anymore.
500.
Pardon me?
We have less and less of our
Yeah,
own
If you do it for baseball, are you gonna do it for soccer, are you gonna do
We
it
don't
for
have any
other?
soccer field.
We
there.
don't have
Yeah.
soccer leagues down there,
No,
you know?
nothing.
No.
What else do
Little
you
wall
need?
off, but that's
They
not
play
our
on the
property.
school fields, the soccer.
Well, who
They
pays
play
for
on
the,
the,
now who
on
pays
the
for
We
the?
just use those
Ball
for just the baseball, right?
Yeah, we got rid of the.
And they pay too.
For-
Baseball.
Yeah, but I mean-
CYO pays everything.
Yeah, to use the high school,
That's
and to
right.
use, yeah, they pay.
Who pays for the electric, like the,
They do.
Oh, yeah.
They pay the electric bill down there.
so the feeder,
One minute,
You
on
think
the ball fields,
Yeah.
They pay the
No, they
electric.
do.
They pay the electric. We didn't even include that in the Johnson controls.
I thought we paid a piece of the new,
I don't
the
think
new,
so.
Canteen.
The lights?
the new plan.
I don't think so,
Same thing
because-
with-
I've seen the
Southfield?
bill as payment for that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you don't.
Who pays it?
For the,
batting?
the new canteen area,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Because I know they pay for the big lights.
Yeah,
Oh,
because I
we don't
remember,
pay for the
I
big
remember
lights.
asking if we got reimbursed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we paid.
I saw them on a Sunday
Yes, we
night.
do pay for part of
Oh,
that.
man.
That's what the main meeting.
Huh?
It's the main.
I know.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, I saw it.
Gonna make the announcements.
Yeah.
Because I had
we
it
do.
Bobby
Yeah.
once.
So, I mean, so, yeah. Everybody says that's good.
They have to pay for it.
Yeah, I saw it on Saturday.
what's the breakdown on the liability for space? Is
Breakdown
there
for
a
the
breakdown on
liability.
that?
I think we just have general.
General
liability
liability,
for the
right,
whole
so general
town.
difficulty, break that down, entities.
The park versus like downtown.
David, I'm sorry.
Sidewalk.
I don't know why I didn't print it, I just printed them out.
That's not a good
You got lucky as well, how'd you get that?
Just my luck, is that.
Scott, I would imagine.
I think you have a public comment
Down there,
We don't have one.
calculate the
This is a special council
No,
meeting.
it is not.
It absolutely
It
is.
is not a special.
Then why did you advertise it as
We
a special
didn't
council?
have, I think who advertised it as special.
I got a copy of the advertisement.
But
Did
you're
you guys
talking
ever
about
read
next
your
month?
meetings?
Did they advertise this as a special meeting?
Yeah.
It has
I
to
read
be.
that on the
It
street.
says
yeah.
it's a special, this is a special borough council meeting.
Has to be.
Motion to adjourn.
Wait, the public, I'm telling
Don't find any
you,
sunshine
you have a
law.
public comment guy here, I believe.
Well, I came because I heard that you might need some information on open space. Apparently you don't.
Well,
You
We're
had-
not at that stage yet. We will, but we're not at that stage yet. We probably will.
Well, it doesn't matter to me. I came as a service to you, not as,
Yeah, but we probably
You're not
will.
serving me.
Same. We hope you'll stay on task.
Well,
But you're not
wait
voting
till
tonight,
we're
public
actually done
comments
this
need
budget,
to
they can
happen.
actually bring that up, but when we were talking, you were saying Bobby had some ideas.
Yeah,
And some of that stuff was.
They had some ideas today about,
Me and Bobby talked about that.
because if we're gonna apply for the grant, you're gonna have to put some,
Right,
at least loose idea of what you wanna.
Yeah, certainly, you can't just say we want money.
right.
But they had some, I thought they were pretty good ideas.
Well, some of that is exactly what's in the comprehensive plan.
Yeah,
That the
told you
EAC 's
before.
Right,
working on.
that the EAC is working on. So are we going to get together with them and actually talk all of us together? Because I don't think it should be Bobby and just you making a decision, council's
I mean, I
supposed to
don't
also be
make
deciding that.
I'm not even gonna.
Well, I'd like to be
I'm
part
not
of
saying
that.
it should just then be, you know, just one person's decision, but we did talk about, that, what's it, Tony Go's place being a bathroom, a handicap bathroom. I mean, I think we should focus on the area that we demoed.
The tot area,
Pardon me?
tot playground you're talking about, a little,
Oh,
the
well,
tots.
yeah, that too,
Well,
I'm just
if you're
saying.
going- If you're going for a grant though, unless I'm wrong about this, I think you're gonna wanna figure out what you're gonna do with that park and send it in as, otherwise you're gonna do separate grants, right? I mean, you're gonna send it as a plan. It may be implemented at different times.
You could compartmentalize it, sure.
But I
it's
mean,
a
should it
huge
go
piece
in
of property.
as a plan, okay, this is what we're gonna do with the park, because we're now gonna where's it going? I wanna see where it's going. I don't want wishy-washy that, well, yeah, down the road, we're gonna make a plan. We need a plan. That's the only way you can do that. Can't tax the people again, like we did for the pool, and you have to let them know.
No, the pool
this is
had a
what
plan,
they're
Debbie, I'm very sorry. The
Yeah.
pool was well explained, well in advance why we needed the
doing.
mill.
All right. Well, and it more than I think we ever thought it was gonna be, unfortunately. But with this, we need to actually let the taxpayer know we're working on getting what that plan's gonna be. It's
Yeah,
just not somebody
this
in
is
the
true.
say, this is what we decide to do, you know.
So should we not start
Oh,
where
no.
the pool is?
No,
I'm
we should
asking.
start.
Oh, I
We
think
should
that's
start
part of it, but I mean, don't you wanna do it as a whole plan? If you're gonna ask for the open space money, if you send it up as a
But you're gonna
grant,
have
we're doing
something
this, this, and this.
Eventually, you're gonna have to have something
So-
comprehensive, but for right now, we need some items to get into a grant application, say what we need, and we can go to certain people. We do have resources here.
I think it needs to be a realistic plan too. I mean, we could put in a wish list plan that's gonna cost $500,000.
We may not be able to afford
But
it.
if we're only gonna receive eventually 300,000, I mean,
That's not a lot of money.
Well, I think you're
No.
kind of shortchanging the EAC. They came to you, you guys said, yes, put this plan
Yeah.
together. I think you should review the plan before you say this is what we're doing.
is it different than what we saw before?
Well,
I'm not on the EAC, I don't.
just so you know, we don't feel shortchanged. However, I'm curious as to what is your 1 mil that you're going to put in the budget worth in terms of the matching money? What does that come to in dollars?
58,906.
58,000.
About 28,000.
So that's 1/4 of what your project, with that money, your
965.
project will be approximately $240,000.
No, we just put it in the budget.
Right.
175,000 matching.
Be aware, though, things like your engineering cannot
We
be
know.
part of your budget in that grant. Your any planner, if you hire a planner, that would not be covered by open space grant money, wouldn't probably even qualify as matching money. Any improvements to the building, highly questionable. Open space money originally, just so you know, the whole open space plan was originally to acquire land. You're not acquiring
An
land.
ADA bathroom will not be,
I believe that is.
that is,
Well,
that
they
is,
changed
we're
the
planning on
category.
putting an
They changed
ADA
the
bathroom there,
categories.
on that building.
Mhm.
So that is covered
We're not gonna put gold.
by the open space grant.
I'm not sure that's correct, but it may be. I'm not sure that's correct, but, because in general, buildings are not at all covered by open space grant money whatsoever, okay?
In the park?
And they're pretty strict about these things. I've been to some of the, on our own grants that we acquired at no cost to the public, by the way, because we acquired our own matching grant money. I've been to the open space review meetings where you will have to make a presentation on this, and they're going to grill you as to this and that. They're under a lot of public scrutiny all around the county, and they turn people down for things that would make them look bad, don't really qualify. It's not that easy a process to just go get your money. I'm just telling you, so you don't think, whatever we put in, they're just gonna approve it. They actually scrutinize it.
And they
Yeah.
don't want like just a few
Absolutely.
things on the list, you have to have a plan as to
Right.
what you're gonna spend that money for.
Yeah, but if you were to hire, let's say.
Well, we're at
other-
day 2, we're not at day 22, we're at day 2.
Sure, of course. But
I
my
understand.
suggestion in terms of moving forward, the EDC has already met 4 meetings that have focused only on developing a plan for the park. And we intend to have more, unless you're gonna move forward with your own plan and so forth. Go for it, because it's not that, that we're doing this as a service to you. If you think you can get better qualified people, you'll pay
Nobody's
for it.
saying that.
But you won't, no, I'm not offended, I'm not saying it's not being offended, but you won't be able to pay for that park planner, and they charge enormous amounts of money, unless from the monies that you're gonna use as your matching money, or the money you receive from the county. That's gonna have to come out of some other part of your budget. And I'll tell you this, just to hire somebody to design a sign, could be $1,000 to $3,000, a big sign like we designed ourselves down there for the borough. That would be $1,500 easy. So to have somebody design a park could be $20,000, $30,000. And frankly, you shouldn't be hiring an engineer to design the park. An engineer can lay out plans as far as the depth of the trail and so forth, but you need a park planner or somebody that has experience
Landscape
in that.
architects.
like a landscape architect, they're very, very expensive. I'm just pointing that out, you can't use your open space money, and your matching money will not be considered matching. And any of this stuff you move forward with as a project, before you submit your plan and it's approved, it's not gonna be part of your match. You have to wait till it's approved and then start your project. You can't, like, use your money down, that you filled in the pool
You
for
don't
what
get
you do
reimbursed,
later.
but you're not reimbursed.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not
It has to
reimbursable.
be approved for what you're doing first
Correct.
before you do it.
Right,
so
then when, yeah, that, only things that, after the approval, that's when your project,
that-
the
that's what-
reimbursement stuff can start.
That's what I was trying to say, I understand doing the bathroom, and I'm on board, I think we need one down there
I
too.
think
but
everybody
it's-
likes that idea.
Yeah, it's something we definitely need, but, in order to get that, you can't just like say, okay, we're gonna put the mill in, we'll take the money, we'll start that first. And
No,
then,
we
then it's
need
not
to.
included
Yeah,
in
well,
that.
everybody's just throwing
Right,
out
yeah.
ideas right
That
now.
they've been working
What
on the
they're
plan
writing.
for.
But it would be a good idea to throw out ideas that's so loose and vague, that should be put down on paper and be specific, and then the EAC would be glad to discuss it with you, run it by you, you know, give you our ideas and so forth, and we could move forward in a positive way maybe from there. But you need to,
Incorporate all of it.
if you guys have ideas, you need to get them on paper and discuss them with
Some of
someone.
the same ideas you have.
That's it.
But I doubt it's the same ideas we have, you don't even know what our ideas are.
Well, that's
I
what
said
I
they
was-
probably
Yeah.
have a
They
question.
could be.
Again, can I go back to, remember when you presented what your plan was for the southern end?
Yeah, for the southern end, yeah.
Okay, so you've been working on one for the northern end?
For the entire park, that's the whole concept of a comprehensive plan.
So we don't have,
Comprehensive means it includes the whole park, and that'll actually, if you do a comprehensive plan and you do it properly and present it properly, you're much more likely to get your funds approved.
Isn't that your second meeting of the month for that?
Well, we've used 2 workshops
Yeah.
recently for that, and if we knew somebody was going to come to us with specific discussion of that, we would make sure that that's
if
available.
you had a comprehensive plan and say we only had $200,
How much?
200,000, right?
Yeah.
Now, we could take a piece of that comprehensive plan, right?
Well, I suppose you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
But
I
it
mean, that
won't
would
be the same, it won't be necessarily a comprehensive plan anymore.
But
Well,
we
that's
want-
why that's another reason I'm here tonight. I'm very curious, I had no idea. We can't really get very far along with a comprehensive plan unless we know how much you're willing to spend. So
Well, plans
apparently you're
shouldn't
willing to
change.
willing to spend $240,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you're right.
A lot will be gobbled
The plan
up.
stays the plan, whether we
And in all
complete it
fairness, that
fruition or
number
not.
just got kind of picked yesterday, so it wasn't.
Well, it's all based though on doing 1 mil. If that's where you're coming up with your matching money, that's the max you're gonna be able to do.
Why couldn't we redirect that towards the Marauder property? That money's run out for
No, that money,
land.
right now, is-
Well, you actually could redirect it. In fact, the EAC believes you should direct it
I
there.
know.
But apparently, none of you are standing up in support of that, so.
But you're not gonna get your hands on that for down there, like what you're saying, a lot of it's not gonna qualify.
The park is our gem, it's our jewel,
I understand.
in my opinion.
But
Other
they
than
have
the brilliance of
county
this
sitting
council
there.
is the brightest light I see in this town. And if I'm gonna go with some kind of a matching grant to do open space, I'd rather invest it in that park. I'm one of 8. I'd rather invest it in that park than MRI, which has an issue, I agree with you.
I mean, that's
However-
part of the borough as well, you know, I
But
agree.
it
anything you do.
doesn't sit in
It's
a
not our
strategic
property.
place.
Oh, actually, it's far more strategic
I'm
than
sorry,
Williamson
Bill.
Park. Most of the population
but
of
this
children
council
could walk to
agreed
that
to
park
put the
without
money into the
crossing
park
a
last
a
night.
highway.
That's why the
Well,
money.
well, wait,
I'm
but
just
if you
trying
put
to
it
use
in open
common
space,
sense.
you're not locking it into either one.
But anyway, that's a whole
You know what I
different
mean? So
issue,
you-
and I think your silence on that point speaks
Very
louder
general
than
at this
your
point.
words, as far as not caring about acquiring the MR right of
I didn't say
property.
I didn't care about it.
Well,
I
you
said I
don't
care
want
about
to.
the park more.
Right, and I understand, and I do believe,
Debbie and I were the ones who suggested putting in there to even be able to apply for grant money. So don't tell me that my
I'm not
silence, yes, you did, you just
When-
directed it towards the entire council, that our silence on that subject. I'm listening to you speak.
tone your anger down,
No,
I'm not
you're the
angry
one
at
who's
you,
throwing your anger
I'm
down.
not angry.
Can I say something? All I know is, we have available almost $300,000 for open space money.
We may.
Okay. In the recreation fund, we're gonna be putting that money in there. We all talked about it, in order to get all that money, we have to have 2 mils, we have to, a little,
A little under 2
but,
years.
yeah, a
Do
little
something
under.
this year and something next year.
Okay, right, in order to get that. My thought is, money for us to use for what we need, either for the park, or let's say we didn't use it all for there. And you could apply some of that, you know what the school's gonna do at this point, they still haven't made a move. But there's nothing that says that, okay, it has to all go there, you're not designating it, it's open space money, you're getting it. I want every dime we can get for the town.
Exactly, that was our
I don't think
intention.
anybody here thinks,
Unless,
different.
until we draw up a plan, so I'm saying, until we draw up a plan that says, we need to, and the numbers, it says, okay, in order to this, and this to the park, it's gonna use X amount of that money, and apply for that. There may be some left over to still use up there.
I don't
If
think,
it's
I don't think
up there at
300,000 is
some
even
point.
going to get
That's
actually
true.
30.
The thing is, and this is what Debbie and I were talking, if we don't start putting the money away
That's
now,
what we're doing.
it's going to run out if we don't start doing it now. And that's what this whole thing was about, was to put money away now. There was no specific plan. There were things thrown out, people were talking, that was it. But if we don't start putting money away now, we're going to lose out on that open space.
Oh, absolutely, you're doing the right thing. If you're gonna ever do it, you need to do it now, because actually, the open space plan is gonna close at the end of 2016. So if you were to take a mill this year, you could conceivably do a mill next year too, and then you could get your whole, whatever amounts to 282,000 instead of just 240. Because it is a shame to let it slip through
You
your
could do
grasp.
everything that the three of you are saying, is put that money in the budget for open space, earmark it, if it's actually a line item. But you don't have to spend it, you can do it next year, get the rest of it, then you can get all that money. So I'm saying,
Yeah.
you don't wanna necessarily rush into a project because you have some money. You may wanna wait another year and then do the big project, or in another year, who knows what the
The school
idea may
might
be.
have
The school may be
made a decision
available,
by that
we
time.
don't know, nobody here knows.
The whole idea of the plan was to
But-
get money.
Because you need the match, you have to get the match, and I think
So you
everybody.
have to hold it
Sees the
until
value
the
of
end.
it.
You can't spend it on anything
That's what I
else.
said, it's
That's what
only
I'm saying.
day two.
But you
Get
also
the
have a
match.
proposal.
You don't have to spend it.
So
You would
Yes.
list that on both the park down there and one of
And
our
it's
other
actually put in a line
all on the
for
same list.
open space. Match.
Whatever we
So we
can
have
do.
to-
Don't start putting money away.
Dave says that
needs to
So
know what
that
to do.
we
Oh,
can
yeah,
get
that
it.
wasn't it. We have that public speaking.
If
Oh, yeah.
that could go.
No,
Well,
it's-
Bill,
this
this
is-
is, anybody has
Can we get another committee for next year, open space, for our little, just to go over this stuff?
We have an open space. The EOC
Keep in mind,
EAC is the EAC, but council has subcommittees. And it might make sense to have a three-person board that works with
That
the
can meet.
I'd be
EAC.
on
We have a
that.
Well, it's
recreation
fine.
advisory board.
Yeah, but Jane, you have a recreation board, is it
Both
maybe?
of those
Yeah,
boards
the
deal with
rec-
that.
So it either has to be reinvigorated or
Typically,
somebody who has a burning interest in this.
Well, what else are we bringing
You wanna
back?
do it?
Why can't you just go back to, why can't
It's a
you go to
control
the
issue.
EAC?
I do, but
There-
you guys
there's
know
no
that
official
I bring it up,
capacity.
nobody
Right.
even talks about it, like I said
It's not
yesterday,
part of
about the open
something.
space, we're gonna talk about it, I mean,
Well,
I
we did.
mentioned
one of the things
And we
the
agreed
EOC
to
is
it.
trying to.
No, that's what I'm saying, when she said that, I mean, I mentioned it in council meetings, and
Now you're
hello,
negating
you
that.
got anything, and nobody answers, so that's why I brought it up yesterday. Why we're doing the budget, if it's not in and we don't start, you're gonna run out of that time
Yeah.
again, we've wasted a whole
And
year.
I agree with you, Elise, I'm sure the others do
So that's what I'm
too.
saying, earmark that for that open space.
Fine.
I want it all if we can get
We
it,
did.
find
But
the
we all
project,
should,
we
we
can
all
bring
want
it in.
that money. And you know what? I think we should also not panic about, we shouldn't panic about it. I just
Right,
think
that's
that.
what I'm saying.
It's only day
To
two.
get that match, you don't have to spend it today, but you gotta have the match so you can
Right.
spend it
Right.
before the time runs
Yeah,
out.
In the
because,
meantime,
be
can we
aware,
start a conversation about it? That's what I'm saying, no conversation the whole year.
We don't have to do it in this budget session, we can do it
Right.
in another session.
Well, that's what I'm saying, I agree with Fred, maybe we can have even a couple of the council people, whoever you want it to be.
I would treat it like the finance committee, like
Yeah,
any
but
of
then
them.
you would certainly want the MEAC to be
Yeah.
involved in that. So
Exactly.
why-
Right.
So why have another committee
It's
if they
just
can just be
duplicating
part of it?
services. Why not
Yeah.
have some council members come to EAC meetings?
Exactly.
I know, you already do.
Debbie
Debbie already does come to
does.
them.
Todd has also.
I mean, so that's it, so it's already, so you're already there.
Okay, so in other words, when I'm working
Find out
and
what they
I,
got.
and I have them, I can come and speak to you and you guys are gonna answer when I say, can we talk about
Well,
this, or
yeah,
can we talk about this?
If we, yeah, and we can move forward if we have any money.
Well,
Can
that's
Debbie,
what
can
this
Debbie
is about.
speak at the council meeting as a liaison to,
Well, she can if we, well, of course she can speak at it.
I was
but
gonna
I-
say, she can speak on it anyway.
as
If it's a
if
meeting.
we have a committee, then the committee person would speak to council on the recommendation
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
She
But
can
if
go
she's
back and
just
tell us
going,
what they're
is she
saying.
going in an official capacity as a
So,
liaison?
I mean,
Or is she going as a private citizen?
No, she would be, she's the council
So
So
person.
then you have, just because she's a county, is she going there?
But she
As
can
a
go
liaison?
anywhere.
Why do you have to name it? Why can't she go talk to the council?
Yeah, I mean, I'm already going there, I've been, you know, so I mean, I've been, because I'm interested in it, like I said, so, and that's just my thing about it, I'd like to use it for what we can for the town. So, I mean, I have no problem still going, Fred goes, he's
I haven't
there,
been
yeah.
Months, but maybe years.
But again, those of you who can't go, whatever ideas you have, if you put them down on paper
Right.
and email them to me or Debbie Colgan or
Yeah.
whatever way you want to get them to us, you know, we can consider them and comment on them. You know, we are an advisory council, so, you know, we would only be offering you advice back. So if you value that advice, we're more than happy to
Expect
give it.
ideas, we expect ideas.
Okay. So,
But be aware, these projects are very big and time slips by very quickly. So we all should work on this to the extent you're willing to, as soon as possible, because it'll just slip by us.
Mayor brought up a point, is there anyone else from the public that wants to address
yeah.
on this matter? Budget, or
Well,
any matter,
the
actually?
purpose for your meeting tonight's a budget meeting, and your minutes can be very brief. Mr. Secretary, you just need to report in for last night as well, the time you began, who was there, and then you discussed the
We got it,
budget.
Jane.
So you're good. I only mentioned it because Councilman Cicero tonight was thinking, as we did years ago, budget meetings were advertised as budget meetings, and it's changed. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, for bringing up the point this evening. I want to comment on Council President Sherlock's proposed fee for the Little League, which includes softball. Absolutely. They do pay a registration fee, which is substantial for all the things that baseball needs to do. But if you would look at your existing fee schedule, Morrisville-based organizations, which used to be the Little League, did not have to pay separate fees to the borough. But to be Morrisville-based, 51% of the membership have to be Morrisville residents. And we know for several years, probably going back even to 2008 or so, we found that the enrollment is 19067 area, which takes in part of Falls, Lower Makefield, and all of Yardley. So those youngsters, they play well, it's a great program we have, but that's a use of our facilities, so we're really subsidizing a program for a lot of youngsters that don't live here and whose parents don't pay the tax for that. So I applaud that action, it's time to do. Certainly your $20 fee to start is reasonable, and you can get a feel for all the costs that you're subsidizing. As for open space, absolutely 2 years, the mill each year, you get to the maximum that the United County has. There are ideas from the council. I know the EAC worked on one possible use for the swimming pool area, but since there didn't seem to be a sense of council that that's the direction for that particular plan, it says maybe there are some concerns that something else should be done or on a different scale down there. So at some point, this body has to have some discussion of possible ideas, whether you want to send a couple people to the EACs, sow some ideas out, get what comes back from them. In a way, it's not fair for the EAC to be working kind of in isolation on ideas that they think is the use a lot of time, and then come and say, no, that doesn't work for whatever reasons, but then there's no other alternative idea thrown out. So I think you're right, this is the year to work. I know you don't have agenda meetings, but maybe when your regular meetings, when you have a light agenda, the council may want to take some time for discussion, start with the EAC, somehow figure out some kind of a format that the council kind of has a body that gets input on various uses for open space money in the park, and then you might want to get some of the information, as Bill was mentioning, some things that may or may not be permitted under the guidelines, so you have that piece of paper, so you know in your thoughts what you can and cannot use for that money for, because some things are different with recreation. So those are my comments on the budget. I look forward to seeing the preliminary budget. Know that I see taxes raised. I'm looking to you to be conscientious to keep everything as low as you can, but we also know sometimes you have to do things that are unpopular. And thank you very much. And it was USA 11.
Anybody else? Public speaking, no? What, anybody else?
You already asked that.
Right, yes,
have your two people, Bill.
Debbie has.
They are my people.
All
They are-
seven of
We
us
already
are
have,
there.
us now.
Yeah, everyone's always.
We'll see.
Yeah, I know,
We'll
but
see how it works out.
I think for me, I'd rather have somebody representing us at these meetings.
And that's why I said for next year, set 3 people aside.
So they can come back, you guys can come back with something, say, this is what we talked about, this is a good idea, or this is what they think.
Well, also,
At least you'll know that if you send somebody there, at least you can bring back to council
Debbie's
what the
going-
EAC plan
She's
is.
been.
Right?
She's going there.
Bring back what the
Fred wants-
EAC plan is so the council can discuss it and review it. That's a
It's a
good
good
That
idea.
or Bill, one of the other or both. Can
Yeah,
you
we're
say one?
more than capable and probably more capable of presenting our own plan to you at any point.
I agree.
But you should be bringing your ideas to us so we can work those
Well,
in, make
for
sure
the
they
record, my
qualify.
idea is, I like the bathroom, I think we should focus down where we just demoed and get that in order.
Put as much specifics on paper of that
I
as
think,
you.
I think we should do a trail around that area and tie it into the stone trail over by the stage.
You know, trails are expensive. Nancy.
Very expensive. I
Yeah, that could be,
understand
particularly if you pave them, which Nancy said in the past.
You see what,
would
you
be
know
good.
what they want to charge
That'll be of a huge
to
portion.
cross Bridge Street?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you remember that?
What's
It's
that?
$1 million to build, as some way just to walk along the canal and then cross Bridge Street?
That was 650.
That was cantilevered
You know, there's,
ramps though, that wasn't just like.
Gosh,
those are ramps,
$1
too.
million,
Those are ramps.
have
But I'm just saying, I think that, I think what I
agree
just
with what you're
mentioned
saying with that.
is,
somebody going in.
you know, and if you do a little, you take down the fence and you do some, you know.
Fence is
Fence
down.
is down, took it down.
Which fence?
They took down that fence,
One
not
around
the other
the
one.
pool.
It's
Oh,
going-
that, the pool fence? The whole fence is down now?
It's going down.
The outer fence, yeah, see the outer fence.
The chain link is down.
Well,
No,
I
it's
think for me, I'd like to
just
know. what
posts.
They're
Bill's saying,
taking- they're
some
filling in
ideas
the
if
holes
anyone-
now.
Oh, okay.
What
Taking it
ideas
down.
you would throw out there, just so that we, you know, we're not gonna waste time saying, well, I wouldn't look at that to
That's
begin
my
with.
idea.
So unless you say,
I
like
like it.
now, you like the bathroom, okay? How many of us are on board
The
with that?
bathroom and like a, what did you say? Like a.
What we were talking
I'll
about,
just-
I'll just give you
Which is
another.
good, because you have the other one,
Fencing
all the
around
other
the
parts.
I'll tell you what we were talking about today. We were talking, you know, that cover and putting tables under there and the roof. We're also talking about maybe doing a round trail there
No.
and putting a tot lot with
It's just
tables
passive.
so that the younger kids could be in there and the parents could sit around there and have a tot lot inside there. So that the younger kids all have the baseball, or the older kids have the baseball, and that way the parents could bring their little kids to the park.
Yeah, I think you
And
need
if
to
they had a
talk.
circular trail there, then they could sit out there, and then the little kids could play in the middle. They wouldn't get lost, and it'd be a nice thing for, it, you know.
Well,
That's another idea.
That's what I'm saying. Getting these ideas then can go to the
Right?
MEAC
Yeah,
and
that's still
then
very-
say,
That's still very vague, that you have to say how big the tot lot
We
is.
know
and
well,
where
we
you
know,
want it
no,
set
we were
and
just
stuff.
talking.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
but I'm
that's
just saying,
just
that's
like
pretty
if you-
refined.
We also talked about doing a volleyball court. You know, like Lower Makefield has a beautiful volleyball court. It's used all the time by their residents. There's kids there all summer long playing
Sand,
volleyball.
or is it?
Sand.
Sandwood.
And you know what, we don't, you guys don't have one. That would be another nice thing
Lower
to put in your
Makefield
park.
Township has one.
That's
Yeah,
something
but
that's
few of
not expensive, it's something that's easily maintained, and it's something that everybody could use. We talked about that today. We were just throwing out ideas. That's why I'm good, that's why I
That's
just
in
wanna
there.
throw
That's actually
ideas
the
out to
budget.
you.
Good.
That's what me and Bobby wanted to do tonight, just throw ideas out to you. But something that isn't a big cost effective. Another thing was, your tennis court.
Did you say you put some in there for fencing?
Well, we did put money in the budget for
That's
fencing too. But just to do, I priced it last year, just to put the new fence around your tennis courts, which you really want, listen, that tennis courts are terrible,
They are, I
you know?
agree.
It's $20,000 to put new fencing around your tennis courts.
See if we get it.
But can that go under that?
Oh, I think that would go into open space.
I think that can, yeah. So maybe that's a small portion of that open space money, and you could do, you could really improve your
I agree.
tennis courts. Next to the tennis courts, I'll just tell you another thing you could do. You have a big paved area there that's all been torn down, that's not being used. You might be able to use that for like a tot lot. You might be able to use, put tot things in
What are
there.
you talking about?
Next to the tennis courts.
Oh, you mean the basketball courts?
No,
Yeah.
between the basketball court and the tennis court.
Yeah, there's a big
Street
paved
hockey
area
area.
there that it's already paved.
Oh, that's right.
You might be able to refinish that a little bit and make that a tot thing for little kids to play on. Instead of the big basketball courts maybe put little hot things in there.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of
That's what
things
we
that
need.
you could use to make your park a lot better. We were trying to think of different things that we could do today. You might just be able to paint lines on that, like hopscotch lines. I mean, just things that wouldn't cost a lot of
Shuffleboard
money.
for old people.
That would,
Lots of-
but would help your
Yeah.
residents, you know what I'm saying?
Problem is
That
we
wouldn't
get
cost a
lots of
lot of
people
money
have to
either.
provide
No,
poles
they do
and those-
But think of some of